Hello Pisces, welcome to your Wednesday reading here at the Pisces Room 369. I also have a channel called Pisces Tarot, but we will be migrating here for a while. Algorithm issues with the original channel for many years now. So finally smartened up, came here. Pisces, there's something in this reading about knowing what is right for you before you have completely figured out what to do with it. And I think sometimes that's actually the harder part, because we tend to think that once we know, once we have the insight, once we understand ourselves a little better, then obviously the next step will happen automatically. And it doesn't always work that way. Sometimes you can know exactly what you want and still put three things in front of it because they seem more sensible or safer, or because you think you need to solve those things first. And the cards today seem to be saying, maybe stop doing that. I have the Queen of Cups first, and underneath her I have Echoes of Light. The Echoes of Light says hope, alignment, resonance, and under that, the smallest spark can remind you of who you are becoming. I love that. Okay? And immediately I'm looking at the Queen of Cups because she's such a receiver, right? The Kings have their own way of holding. I'm just going to put it here. The Kings have their own way of holding energy, but the Queens to me have always had this internal quality. They know how to receive information. They know how to sit with something. They know how to read what's happening inside of themselves before necessarily taking it outside. And this Queen of Cups is sitting there with all of these little colored stones around her feet. See that? I love those stones. Every single time I use this deck, I look at them and think they look like Easter candy. All these little colored rocks. Easter was always better than Halloween because you didn't have to work for it. The Easter Bunny just showed up and apparently started distributing chocolate everywhere. I have a rabbit. Her name is Apricot. Trust me, what comes out of that rabbit is not chocolate. But there is something about those little colored stones that makes this card feel alive to me. They're almost like tiny points of energy, tiny sparks, tiny reminders, right? And then beside her, you can actually see this light forming. Do you see this? It's not quite a lantern. It's not quite a beam. It looks like something's beginning to take shape beside her. Then I look at Echoes of Light, and there's another little rounded area of illumination right here in the pathway. And I thought, there's the light again. It's already appearing. It's already showing you something. It may be something very small, maybe an idea that keeps coming back, maybe something makes you feel more alive. It may be a thought you keep dismissing because you think, well, that isn't practical yet, or I don't know how I would do that, or there are other things that probably should take care of first. But then the Queen of Cups does not need the entire map. She needs to know what resonates. That word is important here, resonance. What actually answers something inside of you. It makes you go, there. That, because sometimes we start building before we even know what's already working. We add mechanisms, plans, protections, all kinds of things because we assume we need them. And occasionally, if we take some of those things away, we discovered that what was underneath was already capable of carrying itself. I think we do that in our own lives all the time. We say, I want this, but first I should do that. And before I do that, maybe I need to become this. And then once I have all those pieces together, I can finally move towards what I wanted in the first place. Meanwhile, the little light has been sitting there going, hello, I'm right here. Then we move into the Lovers, okay? And underneath the Lovers is Lunar Blessing. Grace, protection, harmony. Grace, protection, harmony. Under the Lovers. Harmony. You can't make this stuff up. And visually, the light changes again. If you look at the Lovers, the illumination seems to be coming very strongly from the feminine side of the card. There's these two figures, these two halves, and in between them, there's this living structure, this connection. I've been talking lately about balance not being perfection. Balance requires two sides. You cannot create the balance line in the middle if one side is pretending the other side doesn't exist. The Lovers for me can certainly be love and relationship, but it's also choice. It's alignment. It's two things coming into relationship with each other and asking, can these actually belong together? And underneath it, lunar blessing is almost saying yes. There's grace there. There's protection here. There's harmony here. The card says moonlight touches you exactly where healing is ready to begin. Right there. Okay? But honestly, for this reading, I almost want to change the word healing. I don't feel this is about something being broken. I feel it is more moonlight touches you exactly where you're ready to begin. Because if you look at the lunar blessing card, the light is underneath the flower. It is hidden there, right there. The flower is already growing around it. You're not trying to create the light. You're noticing where it already is. And that's very different. There's a difference between trying to manufacture harmony and tuning yourself to the harmony that is already present. You don't need to force every piece of your life into agreement. Sometimes you simply need to stop giving equal weight to the things that don't resonate anymore. That brings us to the decision energy of this reading, because the Lovers is a 6. 6 is harmony, it's responsibility, it's relationship. It's the place where choices are beginning to have consequences, because you're no longer dealing only with yourself in isolation. Okay? What are you choosing? And are you actually choosing it? Because keeping every possibility open is not the same as participating into your life. You can stand in front of 12 doors and say, look how many possibilities I have. Wonderful. Pick one. Eventually experience has to teach you something that thinking cannot. And that's where the Hermit comes in. The Hermit is a 9. 9 has a completion quality to it. Something has been learned, something has been gathered, there's wisdom here. And of course the Hermit has his lantern. There's our light again, except now something's changed. The Queen of Cups has the light beside her. Okay, Echoes of the Light had this small illuminated place in the pathway. The Lovers has the light coming through the side of the card. Lunar Blessing hidden under the flower, but the Hermit is holding it. He has the lantern. He's standing up on the mountain, and that light is beginning to shine outward. It's touching the ground around his feet. It's no longer insight, not only insight. And then underneath it comes edge of the wild, expansion, potential, and courage. You are meant to grow beyond your familiar forest. Come on. This is basically the deck looking at the Hermit and going, okay, dude, get out of the cave. You've done the thinking, you've done the introspection, you've climbed the mountain, you've found the lantern, take it somewhere. And visually, that is exactly what happens. By the time you get to the edge of the wild, the light is no longer a little spark. It's everywhere. Look at it. It's everywhere. The whole landscape is illuminated. You can see the forest. You can see where you might go. You can see what is beyond a familiar place. And I think that is such a beautiful visual representation of what these cards are asking from you. Let the light move outward. Let it illuminate your life, not just your thoughts, because insight can become another hiding place. We can think and think, we can understand ourselves beautifully, we can know exactly why we behave the way we behave, and then we can stay in the cave. At some point, contemplation has to become participation. That doesn't mean you need a perfect plan. In fact, I think this reading is saying almost the opposite. The Queen of Cups is asking you to notice what resonates. Lovers is asking you to choose in harmony with it. And the Hermit's asking you to carry what you know beyond the familiar edge. You're going to learn more by participating than you will by keeping every door open and imagining what might happen behind each one. Some knowledge only arrives after you move. Maybe you choose something and discover it isn't quite right. Okay. Now you know something you could never have learned while standing still. Maybe you step towards something and discover, oh my God, this fits me better than I thought. Wonderful. You could not have known that from the cave either. So I don't think the pressure here is to make the perfect decision. I think the invitation is to make a living one. Choose something that answers the light you already recognize inside yourself. Choose something that brings more of you into harmony than acquiring you to divide yourself to maintain it. And then step into it far enough for life to answer you back. Because possibility, it can be beautiful. Possibility can make us feel safe because nothing has been lost yet. But possibility is not participation. And you cannot experience your life entirely from the doorway. That little spark in the Queen of Cups becomes the lantern in the Hermit's hand. And by the final card, that's the same light illuminating the entire forest. That feels like the journey. It begins as something you recognize privately, then becomes something you choose. And finally, it becomes something you live. So Pisces, maybe the question this week isn't what other possibilities are available to me. Maybe it's what's already lighting up. What am I willing to follow it far enough to find out what happens? Because the light's already there. You may simply be ready to take it out of the cave. So there you go, my beautiful, beautiful Pisces. This has been your reading for Wednesday. Make sure to follow me here. Click on the subscribe notification. Doing all of that new stuff now again. And you will be notified Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Go check out my other channels. And also, I have a special on readings, so check that out. Probably in the comments section on one of the videos is the link to where you can find that. Thank you so much. I'll see you later. Bye for now.